Tough, rugged, and hard use. We've all heard these terms before for many watch brands, from Luminox to Victorinox, Sin and G-Shock, and so many more. Elliot Brown promotes their watches as tough, built to last, with metal movement holders and triple sealed crowns, and tested over and over to be able to handle all that we can throw at it. Now, in fairness, a lot of watches can probably handle most of what we throw at them, but Elliot Brown makes watches for the outdoorsman, military, divers, and anyone who puts their watches through the paces. That's their main demographic and who they market to. So, I have reviewed a lot of Elliot Brown watches and this new Bloxworth Heritage. Side note, boy, are we seeing a lot of watches dubbed Heritage lately. I think I have reviewed 2 to 3 with that moniker in the past few months alone. But anyways, this new Heritage model got me thinking, and I started doing a little bit more research into the brand and how they are made and assembled. I went looking on their website first, and I see many claims of all the testing they have done, the military partnerships, watches left at the bottom of the oceans, and much more. But what I couldn't find is where they were assembled. I had always assumed the watches were made in China, as they're not marked Swiss made, but I guess I thought they were always assembled in the UK. But I got in touch with them recently for a direct quote. We source components and movements, etc. from all over the world, but assembly and testing is done in China for us, with us overseeing it. So there is my answer. The watches are made and tested completely in China. Not uncommon in this industry at all, but I do question the lack of transparency about this on their website. This model we have here is their latest in the Bloxworth lineup, sized down to 40 millimeters. I think the original Bloxworth was 44 millimeters. So this is a much more wearable watch, and I would say, for many wrist sizes, this smaller size matches up better with the Heritage theme as well. This model comes in at $689, with shipping to the US, so just about $700, and uses a Swiss-made Ronda 713 quartz movement. On the screen, you will see all the specifications. Now, I know what many of you are already thinking. $700 and quartz. Yep, I've talked about this before with Elliot Brown watches, and the reality is, some people are always going to hate this, and the fact that this is a quartz and made in China, and not made in the UK, or Switzerland, or Germany, even more so. I totally get it. We all have our triggers or things we like or what we expect for a certain price point. Where do I land, you ask? Well, I guess I look at it much like the Swiss Army Inox. None of those watches are cheap, really, and many of the lineup uses quartz as well. But let's get into this Heritage watch. The case pretty much stays the same, but it is sized down more, and overall, I love this case design. Even though the crown really is close to the case, I haven't found an issue using it, and the finishing with Elliot Brown is always top-notch, as you can see here. When you look at the lugs, you can see the screw bars that are easy to remove, and yes, the tool is included in the box as well. Elliot Brown sells this model on a bracelet as shown here, or a black or orange tropic rubber strap with a deployant clasp. This dial here is referred to as cool gray. There are other colors available as well, though it really does look like black to me. The basket weave texture in the center of the dial gives it some much needed pop, and if you are thinking the numerals, hands, and markers are done with old radium or vintage loom, well, apparently it is a specific color done for Elliot Brown called Purbeck Stone, though it does look close to the old radium color, though maybe it's a shade or two lighter. No date here, and that keeps the dial very symmetrical, something I personally enjoy. As usual, the crown has triple seals, the case back is 6 screws, and the movement has a metal movement holder and is extremely resistant to shocks. The case back carries the Elliot Brown shield, again, pretty much the same case back we've seen before on previous models, though a good looking case back, so I won't really complain. The 120 click bezel has a loomed ceramic insert. The bezel itself has just a little bit of play in it, but it's easy to grip and turn. I do enjoy this 3-link bracelet, which is held together with screws. It has a ratchet extension dive clasp, and you'll notice the logo is loomed for that little cool factor, much like other brands do with the crown. On my 7.5-inch wrist, this case size feels good and the bracelet and case together is very comfortable. When it comes to sizing though, I only need one link to come out for a perfect fit, possibly pulling that extension out just a little, but that's it. So if you have a wrist much bigger than mine, you're going to want to ask for extra links as it's not going to fit you out of the box. The loom here looks pretty good and it will last a good amount of time. I tested it through the night at 5 a.m., about 6 hours after going to bed, and I was able to see the time no problem, but that was due to the hands. As you can see, the numerals and indices are not as bright as the hands and bezel and will start to fade a lot quicker. Now, some might think I have belabored the point about where the watch is made and assembled, but that's part of the review and giving you all the information. I was also a little disappointed that Elliot Brown doesn't have this listed on their website, as I believe more brands should be fully transparent about where their product is made. When it comes to the price, well, these days some of the most popular G-Shock watches are the metal squares, and those are $500 on up, with the same digital LCD module you could find in one of their $150 watches, and that has a mineral crystal. And then you have the ones that are titanium and sapphire, but that price starts at $1,500 and goes way up from there with special editions and everything. And the price really gets crazy, but people are buying them up left and right. So it all depends on what you're looking for in a watch and how much you are willing to spend. Elliot Brown watches are undoubtedly well made and they're very attractive, as you can see. And they have been in business now for about 8 years, and so they're doing something right for sure. But that is all for this one. I hope I gave you a good look at this piece. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, you can click the links in the description to take you to the Elliot Brown website, as well as to a written review on watchreport.com. I want to hear from you though, so ask any questions or let me know what you think of this new Bloxworth Heritage model down in the comments below. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit notifications. This is Don from Watch Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.